I swear, this PePe mofo has to be the best worst character I've ever seen in Bleach. There's something so hilarious, disturbing, not gonna say badass because that love power was the hearts that he was firing to give people his love were so distorted and looked like a vomit projectile. But the fact that this man, I swear, I honestly thought from minute one when he rolled out, he was kind of like doing his meditation, floating around like he's Silver Surfer, and I swear to God, he smoked a fatty before he came into the scene because there's no way someone unironically acts like this unless they are on cloud nine. But holy hell, this is my favorite, most hated character all mixed into one. It's the type of character that you really couldn't deal with for probably more than half an episode's worth of content if they're going to have major scenes. But watching him fly around trying to shoot his love juices at people as he's removing arrows from his throat to fire like Cupid, it is so messed up. But honestly, I kinda loved it. Now, full live reaction to episode 23 of the 1,000 Year Blood War is available on my Patreon. If you would like to see me just shocked in real time, it's over there if you're interested. This was one of my personal favorite episodes that we've seen across 1,000 Year Blood War. It was very well produced, some very fun fights, but it also just had the ridiculousness that I think only a battle shonen can have. Because whether it's a show like Bleach or whether it's a show like One Piece, sometimes you look at the characters in question and you say, how in the hell am I going to even take this seriously, enjoy this character? Because when you're looking at some of the goats like Ichigo, or Captain Kuro in this episode, bro, that loop in order like, hey, every time I die, we reset here because of the drug. There's some insanely intense moments and characters that just you love to see because of the intensity of their characters. And then there's also characters like PePe come in and I'm like, bro, is high as a kite. And the fact that, honestly, I don't think I could take much more of him. And if somehow we have to take more of him, I don't know how I'm gonna feel, but the idea of him rolling out pretty much immediately with Gigi and everyone just pretty much taking control, sucker punches in and just says, I'm the captain now. And honestly, man, for a brief moment, he was in the driver's seat. It was disturbing, like the initial heart, it was like not even a right heart, it was warped. And then there's like this heart ray that he's doing and it looks like vomit being attacked. Like, I'm like, what is this dude doing? But the fact that he has moments that make him legit just seem kind of like a fatter Santa. I mean, he's not really buff by any means, but you also could see how a character design like that, given the correct writing and presentation, could be kind of one of those like older wise man who just wipes the floor with people. And then he'll just strip down to his diaper and then you just look at him and you say, what in the actual hell? Who let grandpa out of the nursing home because what am I even seeing? It is complete ridiculousness. I couldn't take this man seriously more often than not. But what I mean or anyone means when you say the best worst character, it's like those characters that you just, unironically really enjoy in certain situations, but at the same time their personality is so horrible that you never want to see them again. And that's literally this character in a nutshell, and I wouldn't change a damn thing about this episode, especially when it comes to this wild, wild man. But I will say, I really thought this was going to be dominated by Captain Kuro because he rolls in. And I mean, there's multiple moments where you kind of have to feel like, are we the baddies? Some of the faces, the glares, half the time we don't even see his face. It's just like a black silhouette with the demon eyes looking at you. But the idea that when someone rolls up, and the idea of the whole marching of the zombies, right? Because this is part 2, mind you. So what ends up happening is we learn that, hey, if someone's already dead, the zombies come back and they're normal zombies. They're animated corpses, but they're not really anywhere close to who they were when they were alive. However, if you turn people into zombies before they die, then basically you get the full soldier, and that is very dangerous for them. And there is some clean animation. Fast sword swings. I mean, there's moments where headbutts are happening and then you're almost stabbing fools. Just very well-produced, polished animation. Hell, we even get moments where it feels like we got JoJo Aura going on, and I wouldn't change a damn thing about that. But the star attraction in that whole moment was the endless loop, right? Because initially, I mean, that wasn't looking good. I was a little worried. I was almost ready to get in my chair. I'm like, I can't believe that. I mean, he's basically holding up his creepy sword that can block anything. He's got Auto Block 10,000 activated. And then it just resets. And I loved seeing it, just the confusion. At first, I was like, oh, maybe he's trying to like break the zombified curse. Like maybe if there's enough confusion, maybe that will allow him to break free from being under her influence. And instead what ends up happening, no, it's like, okay, after like the 10th time, you know, your brain's gonna kind of basically paralyze you for 30 seconds. And yeah, it's a little savage, you have to admit. And there's a couple of moments with Captain Kuro where I'm kind of sitting back being like, wait a second, are we the baddies? Even though knowing the full context of everything, sometimes that fool and his drugs, I swear to God, he's got every medicine and drug up his sleeve. Don't know how it falls out, mind you, but the fact that he just pulls out needles left and right and is injecting fools as test subjects, a scientist, a doctor, an experiment, it's all in a day's work for this guy. It's absolutely wild. But there was something about this episode, and I think what I really appreciate about what they've done with Core 2 of the Thousand Year Blood War is that despite Ichigo, you know, doing his training, coming in, feeling like, you know, naturally a show like this, a manga, anime, whatever it is, would just throw Ichigo back in and he would take charge because they're getting their ass handed to them, so ultimately the MC comes in, new power up, and he does his thing. But instead, it's almost like, okay, Core 3, that's when Ichigo's probably going to really have his moments to shine, right? He's going to go on up as well, and that's going to be his moment. But the idea of letting the side cast, characters you either know and love, wish you could see more of, or characters you don't think you want to see in the case of maybe even a PePe, but at the end of the day, you can't help but say, you know what, I kind of like that we did get to see it. They're giving characters who normally wouldn't get the spotlight some time to actually shine. And I've seen countless manga readers over these weeks, especially with Core 2, saying that, oh, this is actually much more extended, or they made it feel a lot more important than when I initially read it. And I really enjoy seeing that because initially when the Thousand Year Blood War was announced as the anime returning, right, I jumped aboard, read up the manga up until where Thousand Year Blood War starts, and I saw so many people say, you know, this arc wasn't really my favorite, but, you know, depending on how the anime goes about things, fleshing things out, maybe adding in some extra, it could very well become one of my favorite arcs, just there's a few things that need to be adjusted. And then I saw the other side basically saying, man, if this actually gets a proper anime adaptation, like seemingly they're doing, especially because it's not just being crammed into 2 cores or something back to back, then potentially this could be what people wish Bleach always was. No filler, no BS, just non-stop badassery, fleshing things out, and it really does feel like it hit both sides equally. Like, it just brought the Bleach fandom, new and old alike, into saying, god damn, maybe we could just like go back and also, because I know Naruto's doing that thing where like they're like reanimating like a handful of episodes or something. I mean, you gotta admit, like, seeing what they've been able to accomplish with Thousand Year Blood War, you have to imagine there's some fights, there's some moments that the Bleach fandom would love to see the treatment that clearly this team is given, because it is passion, it is quality, and I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, it does make me feel like a kid in a way, you know, waking up on Saturday morning, turning on my favorite anime, my favorite show, and just going to town, man. It's a fun time right now, and I love this episode. Best worst character, and I mean, that's honestly part of the reason I love Battle Shonens. They got some wild personalities, and PePe was definitely one of them. Thoughts and feelings yourself, though, down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more Bleach to the channel, and like I mentioned, we have that full live reaction over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Michael Latham, Mig021, Minless, Missing No Leader, Monsi7, and more Rudd. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.